What's up, dudes? Welcome to the Figures Q&A. We're starting a little bit early, not because we have so many questions, but I'm right here, so might as well get started. What's up? Let's see. Next week, we have a podcast with Ryan Ballo from the Cortex Labs. I did a couple podcasts with him last year, so we're going to be talking about nootropics, TRT, ATG, latest developments, and all that kind of stuff. That will be dropping on Monday, and I'm almost done preparing for the best dose of Trembolone video, but that might take a couple days to record, so I'll probably start on Monday. And then I'll take like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday even to record. So that will be dropping in a week or so, but I will drop it before this month is finished. Let's get started with the questions. No member chat. No member chat now, but since we got started, you can start chatting. Already got a super chat before this podcast even got live. Let's see, Adam. Let me zoom in a little bit. All right. Testosterone around 1,000 nanograms per deciliter. Estradiol at 63 picograms per milliliter and still experiencing low estrogen sides. Dry skin, depression, libido. Can anything else mimic low estradiol? Ferritin is 61 nanograms per deciliter, I think. Should I increase estradiol or add in an aromatase inhibitor for more DHT conversion? Well, it could be that you're deficient in something that you think is related to low estradiol, but it's clearly in serum that it's 63. Now, maybe you need to do a high sensitivity test to see if this estradiol is exactly 63 picograms per milliliter, or maybe 20 picograms per milliliter, which would certainly give you low estrogen sides. Maybe you're taking something that could falsely detect this estradiol, phytoestrogens, trenbolone, esterone coming from boldenone, for example, or you're taking a lot of ATG, which can increase estrone levels as well, which can detect this estradiol. So maybe do a sensitive test and then take it from there. Because again, dry skin, depression, libido, it could all be related to vitamin A deficiency or a high vitamin A intake, sorry. So based on what you're giving me, I would say that you need to do additional testing and maybe do a full panel to see what's going on. And then see if that fixes it, because based on this, I don't think that the estradiol is the problem. So take it from there, right? It's probably multifactorial, and with additional testing, you need to figure out what the root cause is. But with this, I would say that your estradiol is not the root cause. Questions from the members. The Kevin DJ 360 asks, switching over to Ovitrelle 6,500 IUs per 0.5 milliliters, so that's Merck Ovitrelle ATG. What is the best way to divide this into individual doses? Would you dilute it with more bacteriostatic water or make it easier to dose? So yeah, I would dilute it in a sterile vial with bacteriostatic water with 0.7 or 8. What was it? So you have the normal concentration. Let me whip out the calculator real quick. So we want 5,000 IUs per 1 milliliter, right? But this is 6,500 IUs per half a milliliter. So we need to add, I think, 0.7. Let me check. So 6,500 divided by 1.3 is 5,000. Okay. So you add 0.8 milliliters of bacteriostatic water, and obviously transfer all of that over to a sterile vial. And then you can draw 250 IUs, which is 5 IUs on the insulin syringe, or 500 IUs, which will be 10 IUs on the insulin syringe. And that's the way to do it. That's the way I'm really doing it. So you transfer that over, you dilute it. I think I mentioned this in the TRT video, right? Yeah, I think I did in a TRT update video. I told you guys exactly how I was diluting it. So if you haven't watched that video, give that a watch. But add 0.8 milliliters bacteriostatic water, transfer everything over to a sterile vial, and then use the regular breakdown of you would use for a 5,000 IU per 1 milliliter vial of HCG. Computer Man 199 asks, hey Steve, wanted to get your opinion on the future of PEDs for bodybuilding. Do you think that gene therapy that some people are taking or talking about to increase androgens by modifying an individual gene expression without weekly injections will eventually take over, or do you think taking these compounds exogenously as is currently done is as good as it's going to get? So, will gene therapy replace steroid administrations? It wouldn't surprise me, but I think gene therapy will only get you that far. right? Can gene therapy increase growth hormone output and IGF-1 output and maybe testosterone and other anabolic hormone output? But there's no gene therapy for mastestrone or primobolan or Anadrol or Trembolone or all the other steroids which are testosterone derivatives. So you might be able to get away with an off-season endogenously produced bioidentical supraphysiological gene therapy cycle where you do one administration of a gene therapy that increases endogenous testosterone to, let's say, 5,000 nanograms per deciliter and growth hormone to maybe 30 nanograms per milliliter and IGF-1 to 600 nanograms per milliliter. That would be a sweet cycle, assuming you eat enough. That's a good off-season stack. So that will be an equivalent of, let's say, 500 milligrams a test, give or take, and 10 IUs growth hormone per day, and about 500 micrograms IGF-1 per day. Now, the steroid intake might not be enough. Will gene therapy be able to raise your serum testosterone concentrations to 10,000 nanograms per deciliter, which is, well, 10 times the upper reference range? Probably not. And again, there's no replacement for Trembolone or Anavar or Primobolan. So I think the gene therapy can only get you so far, and it might be another 100 years down the making. But if they do that under medical supervision, then at best you will get top of the reference range results on your endogenously produced bioidentical hormones with gene therapy. And going super physiological, you probably need to bribe the gene therapy doctor to give you a little bit more genes than is medically accepted. So I think up until that point, and cost aside, right? I mean, it's mad expensive, these treatments. It's really crazy expensive. Cost aside, I think for the next 100 years, you're going to have to take steroids, which is probably by the time we're all dead. So it looks interesting, but within our lifetime, I highly doubt that it's going to make a significant difference. Filippo's Gym asks, is there the most efficient and quickest way to wean the body off stimulants such as caffeine or Ritalin? In other words, get the receptors unblocked. I don't want to have to take larger and larger doses in order to achieve an effect. You stop them cold turkey and then wait for you to feel normal again. Of course, you're going to go through withdrawals. You're going to feel sleepy. You might not feel as cognitive. You might not feel as energetic. And then slowly but surely, your adenosine levels and whatever Ritalin interacts with, I can't remember off the top of my head. After a while, you just come back down to baseline, and then you feel normal again. And then you can reintroduce the caffeine or Ritalin at a much lower dose than you were taking before, because now sensitivity has been restored. So if you want to get off those things quick, stop cold turkey and take a week off from work, because you'll be sleeping most of the time. Lethal Promotions asks, hey Steve, do you have any experience or opinions on Epitalon you can share? Thanks once again. It appears to be a good anti-aging compound to lengthen telomeres by upregulating telomerase activity. Will you notice anything when you take it? No, besides financial drain in your wallet. Your wallet will be lighter, but you won't notice anything. I've run it many times while fasting or in a caloric deficit or in various contexts, and I never noticed anything. And even though the science does look very compelling, since I'm actively speeding up cell proliferation with compounds like growth hormone, IGF-1, etc., I would not take it during the time. Well, maybe it's better to take it during the times that you're taking growth hormone and IGF-1, right? Yeah, to at least keep those telomere lengthened, because of course those telomeres get shorter and shorter and shorter every time the cells divide. So will it make you more anabolic? Probably not. Will it prevent cancer? Probably yes. Will it increase cancer growth if you have cancer present? Also yes. So yeah, I think it's one of those feel-good things, like astragalus root extract, for example, that also increases telomerase enzyme activity and can potentially lengthen your telomeres, which I do take, year-round. And right now I'm taking, 3 grams or something, and then now that I'm on cycle, I should increase that over time, depending on my anabolic androgenic steroid intake. But yeah, it's it shows some promise, but you will not notice anything. And maybe later on in life, you get an extra year or two, and then you're like, you know what, maybe it's the Epitalon that I took multiple times and spent thousands of dollars on. All right, Biscup FTM asks, hey Steve, I remember you mentioning phosphatidylserine as part of the stack to regain stimulant sensitivity, but I can't figure out the mechanism, not for lack of digging, mind you. Do you know why it would do this, or is it observational based on your trainees? Is it maybe something that you're just misremembering you're saying this? No, buddy. Phosphatidylserine lowers cortisol and adrenocorticotropic hormone levels and thus increases sensitivity to cortisol, DHEA, which is also being produced by adrenocorticotropic hormone, and other neurosteroids over time, right? Because now these cortisol, DHEA, some of these other compounds are reducing. Now, obviously, you don't want to have your DHEA too low because this helps with cognition, memory formation, and just overall sense of well-being and libido. So in most contexts, when you want to regain stimulant sensitivity, you take phosphatidylserine, remove the stimulants, and supplement with DHEA because production might come down by lowering adrenocorticotropic hormone levels with 400 to 1200 milligrams phosphatidylserine. And then slowly over time, sensitivity comes back. So that's basically the same question as what Filippo's gym asked. He wanted to restore sensitivity to caffeine and Ritalin. And the trick here is to abstain from stimulants for a while. This is how you restore adrenal sensitivity. So phosphatidylserine to reduce levels to the point receptor sensitivity can go up and no further exacerbation of these receptors by removing the stimulants. So now you're in a low stimulant, low cortisol state. You'll feel like ass. You'll be sleeping a lot, but over time sensitivity comes back. And while digging into phosphatidylserine and other stuff and watching your videos, podcast with Dan Coe being the most important one, I realized I'm a donkey for putting stupid amount of time going balls deep on every supplement training, health topic, and related research papers without starting on social media to monetize my knowledge, just because there's always somebody who knows more. If I manage to turn it into a job, I'll visit you in Thailand with a big bag of gourmet cat food. All right. If you love this kind of stuff, then yes, monetize it. There's plenty of room for everybody. I mean, the more people, the better, and we can get discussions going and learn from each other. So if you're really into this stuff, start a YouTube channel or a podcast or whatever where you can actively share your research and your opinion. And then hopefully you can monetize it. But the bar has been raised pretty high with guys like me and others. But don't let that discourage you. I mean, when you look at some of my older videos, those are pretty bad. So you have to start somewhere. Aaron Grid, what's up? Guys, I'm counting on you to keep the chat organized. All right, let's get started with the member and the super chat questions. In your latest HRT video, you mentioned 10 milligrams Anavar daily. How long do you plan on doing this, and what are your goals for adding that to your regimen? I want to be anabolic as fuck again. It's that fucking simple. And since I love Anavar and I have a closet full with pharmaceutical Anavar, I'm going to run it first thing after getting back on cycle. So it's been 7 days, and I feel pretty good. And I had pretty good workouts this week because the Anavar starts working right away. And of course, the testosterone will take some time to build up. But yeah, the Anavar I could feel by day number 3. So now it's probably exactly the same as last week. But fuck, man, this feels so good. When I'm pumped, it's night and day. Big difference. How long do I plan on doing this? Probably until July, because I have to make some, I think July, yeah. So that's how many months? 1, 2, let's say 2.5 months. So I can kind of get my old physique back, you know, lean up a little bit, get a little bit bigger, improve my body composition and my physical appearance to the point that I'm satisfied by looking in the mirror and taking pictures again. And then I'll probably take the Anavar out and maybe go on Primo. But for now, Anavar is a lot cheaper. And since I have so much laying around, since my lipids and liver enzymes all looked good on the previous blood work results, Anavar is what I'm going to use. And since Primo Bolan is fucking expensive right now, I don't feel, I don't feel like spending so much money on Primo. So I'll probably just take Anavar for a while, maybe increase the test a couple times, maybe throw in a little bit of mint, 50 milligrams. After doing all the research for that video, it does sound appealing. And again, since all of my fertility obligations have now been fulfilled because I froze so much semen, I can run Trestalone, man. No big deal. So let's see. We'll take it month by month. We are just 1 week in, so the next blood work opportunity will be Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. I might as well do 5 weeks. Middle of May, 12th. Yeah, that's Sunday, 12th of May. So we're 1 month out, give or take, for blood work. And then we'll see what happens. I'm already up 2 kilos. Yeah, good stuff. Base velocity. Clinic wants 2 times per week intramuscular, but I've switched to daily subcutaneous. Do I need to skip any injections X days before or still pin the day before and post blood work day off? Depends on when they want to test you. On the trough, so that's the day before the injection or the day of the injection where you would otherwise do it, or on the peak. And of course, if you do daily subcutaneous microadministrations, you won't have any peaks, but serum levels will be lower compared to the day after the injection. So if they want to see what your highest levels are and they want you to come in the day after your biweekly intramuscular administration, but you're doing daily subcutaneous microadministrations instead, exact same milligram weekly intake, then levels will be significantly lower. Well, not significantly, but they will be lower from twice a week intramuscular to daily subcutaneous. Might be a difference of 10 to 20%, which means they might be able to increase your script by 10 or 20%. They're just going by the results on paper, right? So if they're prescribing you, let's say, 150 milligrams per week and they expect 800 nanograms per deciliter, but you actually have, I don't know, 700 nanograms per deciliter, and they're like, oh, that's pretty low. Maybe we increase it to 175. 25 milligrams per day is what you're going to do, but you're telling them that you're doing what, 87.5 milligrams Monday, Friday, twice a week. So it kind of depends, man, when they want you to come in for blood work. Yeah. All these laws and systems, headache. Is there an ideal test ester for daily pinning? Test probe. It doesn't matter. If you start pinning daily, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It could be enanthate, it could be decanoate, it could be anything in between or there above. It doesn't fucking matter. If you pin every day, just go with, if you want the most milligrams of actual net testosterone, go with propionate or acetate, because that's a higher percentage of active pharmaceutical ingredient, in this case being testosterone. Stick around to the PD lifestyle. The coach takes his shirt at the end off. Takes his shirt off at the end of the life. No. We're not gonna go there. You can see some biceps. That's it. I guess there's no way to have real estradiol levels from blood work if you can't find the ultrasensitive test right. No, ultrasensitive is where it's at. That's why we have high sensitivity C-reactive protein. I mean, there's a huge discrepancy between conventional CRP and high sensitivity CRP, and it's the same with testosterone, same with estradiol. So, usually you can piece it together with full blood work, right? And then talking with somebody during a consultation or by email, they send me the blood work, you see a boatload of markers, and I'm like, okay, maybe estradiol is a little bit high, but these are symptoms, and you kind of piece it together, and then after, so much experience, you kind of know which route to go. But when I see somebody has high estradiol but low estrogen symptoms, it's a little bit hard to diagnose over the internet. So that's why blood work is usually, multiple pages long, so you can make an informed assessment. And then, of course, having high sensitivity testing allows you to make a better assessment of what's going on. But if it's not available, it's not the end of the world. You can piece it together with sexual binding globulin, lipids, and DHA sulfate, pregnenolone levels, and maybe DHT levels if they tested for that. So, right, the more markers, the merrier. And if you have a problem, do all of it as sensitive as you can, if possible. Tobias Larson, running 400 milligrams test, 400 milligrams Primo. Estradiol came back at 40. Well, I think we're done here. Sounds good. I want to swap the 750 milligrams test because money. Okay. Yeah, Primo's expensive, man. I'm sympathetic to the cause. Where would you start the AI dosing before getting bloods, and how many weeks to wait before getting it? Next cycle. So if you want to swap, of course, the Primo will be in your system for, let's say, 6 more weeks. But then slowly over time, the estrogen suppressing effect, the aromatase inhibiting effect of primobolan will be less and less and less. So you might experience some fluctuations, but let's do it like this. Every 2 weeks, you add in 1 tablet of aromasin split out over the week with 2 administrations, because the half-life is about, I think, aromasin 4 to 5 days. Let me confirm that. Aromasin half-life 24 hours. Sorry, it stays in your system for 4 to 5 days. So biweekly administration should be okay. So let's say you're pinning test 750 per week, 250 Monday, Wednesday, Friday. In the first 2 weeks, or the first 2 weeks, you don't take anything because you have Primo still being active. It's suppressing your estrogen levels more than sufficiently. Week 3 and 4, 12.5 milligrams aromasin, Monday, Friday. Then week, let's see, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, we're going to 2 tablets of aromasin. So now you can do maybe 12.5 milligrams Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and an extra one on Saturday or Sunday, whatever you prefer. And then after that, 2 weeks later, so now we're 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 onwards, you go on 3 tablets of aromasin. And at one point, you should do blood work. Let's say 2 weeks after adding in 3 tablets of aromasin, you do your blood work to see where your serum estradiol levels are at. I feel that a general rule of thumb is 1 tablet of aromasin, 25 milligrams aromasin per every 250 milligrams testosterone intake that you're taking. But again, everybody has individual response. It might be too little. It might be too high. So that's why you need to do your blood work on, let's say, week 9. So that's after 2 weeks on 25 milligrams 3 times per week. By that time, the Primo has long since metabolized. The suppressive effect on estradiol is already gone. And now you're solely relying on 750 tests and 3 tablets of 25 milligrams aromasin per week. Week 9, right after making this switch. So every 2 weeks, you add in 1 tablet of aromasin. First 2 weeks, you don't add it. Then week 3, 4, 1 tablet. 5, 6, 2 tablets. 7, 8, 3 tablets. And then on week 9, you check your blood work parameters. Estradiol came over at 400, but I'm using boldenone. So no estrogen size or ultrasensitive. Yeah, so that could be like the estrone that you get. Could be an estrone detecting as estradiol. And if you don't have any estrogen sides or ultrasensitive or methyl estradiol, yeah, if you can't test it, this is very unfortunate. You know, I see it sometimes where estradiol is like 2,000 nanograms per deciliter, and then you realize, oh, wait a minute, they're also on 350 milligrams trenbolone. So it's a trenbolone detecting as estradiol. Yeah, it's a nightmare, man. That's why you have to write down on your diary, yeah, how you feel. You write down first how you feel. Right? Libido, rated 1 star to 5 stars. Your well-being, your anabolism, your muscularity, your body fat percentage, whatever. Write it down first, then you go in for blood work, so you don't get bamboozled by the results. You see that estradiol levels being sky high, and then you're wondering, like, is my libido really that bad, or is it really that good? It could be a one-off, you know. It could be a false reading. My sister's has been having problems with getting injured extremely often and taking really long to recover. Do you have any suggestions on what blood work markers to check? Check her serum hormone levels, obviously. Check her micronutrients, selenium, vitamin D3, zinc, magnesium, etc. And basically just check everything, because it could be off. Multiple things could be off. You know, her iron levels could be too low, her hematocrit levels could be too low, and thus her platelets could be too low, so that indicates impaired recovery capability. Hormone levels could be too low because of, you know, impaired nutrient intake, and you would see that on her micronutrient profile. So I would just test everything. You know, let me link you everything that I have on my website. Medical screening before your first cycle. Well, she doesn't have to do her first cycle, but this is the most comprehensive list of blood work markers you will find anywhere. Ever test all of that? Or what you can afford, because it's a big fucking list. Close this off. And then take it from there, man. It could be multiple different things that is going on. Kevin, all right, is there any question with that? I don't see it. Thanks for the dollars. Eric, 93, odds of fertility with 0 LH and FSH and 250 milligrams testosterone weekly. Well, you don't have to be azoospermic, because a lot of guys, as you could see in the Trestalone video, had completely impaired HPTA. But Trestalone, can actually initiate testosterone synthesis within the testicles, albeit that it's in the latex cells of animal models, not in human subjects. Still, it's interesting. And testosterone, if you're running that, testosterone can actually permeate into the testicles and activate the Sertoli cells just like intertesticular testosterone would. That's why most men are not completely azoospermic or not even oligospermic on testosterone replacement therapy. I was not completely infertile. I was never infertile unless I ran boatload of Tren or other 19-or derivatives being nandrolone. So, because I never ran Ment, but stay tuned. So on Trenbolone, I would be azoospermic, right? But on testosterone or Primo, Anavar, no, just subfertile, right? The maybe 20, 22 million sperm per 1 milliliter of ejaculate, 2, 3, 4 milliliters. So you have like 60 to 80 million sperm per ejaculate, but then the morphology and the motility was absolutely asinine. You only need one though. So I would not be able to get my wife pregnant, even with great fertility parameters. I can't get my wife pregnant, but that's age. But if your girlfriend is like 18, 21, 25 years old, if you're subfertile on cycle, you can definitely get her pregnant, man. So if she's over 35, you can come inside. But if she's under 35, especially 25 or younger, oh, man. Yeah, facials, man. Otherwise, you're going to be a daddy. And you don't want to be a daddy when you're young. Unless you're financially secure, then it's fine. But you need to grow up and become financially secure. That's one of the reasons why we waited so long. And then, people are like, how much is IVF? Oh, it costs like $15,000 or something. They're like, oh, that's so expensive. Well, when you're financially secure, it doesn't really make a dent in your finances. It just sucks that you have to go through the process. Do you know if immunosuppressants affect muscle growth? No, I don't know. No, which immunosuppressants? I don't know. Never really looked into it. Eager, welcome, bro. Dose of somatotropin for binding IGF-1. Dose of somatotropin for bringing IGF-1 to normal. Your IGF-1 is 72 micrograms per liter. Okay, so you're pretty fucking low. Yeah, some guys just don't produce enough IGF-1. I mean, look at my IGF-1 levels. Fucking shit. Like 125 on 2.4 IUs of growth hormone. And I wasn't taking anything that lowers IGF-1 levels. Right? I wasn't taking berberine. I wasn't taking citrus bergamot. Well, citrus bergamot doesn't lower it, but berberine does. Metformin lowers it. Man, I think flaxseed can even lower IGF-1 levels and also inhibit the androgen receptors because of the lignans that are contained within flaxseed. So find the cause, remove the cause, because in some individuals, it doesn't matter how much growth hormone you take. If the cause is not removed, blunting IGF-1 secretion or production in the liver, then it doesn't matter how much growth hormone you take. All right? Estradiol, endogenously produced estradiol or exogenously administered, not orally. Oral estradiol actually lowers IGF-1 level production or IGF-1 production in the liver, but implanted or injected estradiol increases it. So check your serum estradiol levels. Maybe it's too low for normal IGF-1 production, but my estradiol was like 45, 50 picograms per milliliter, and my IGF-1 was still low. So if you have impaired IGF-1 production, but you have a good source, like I do, go with IGF-1, baby. Go with legitimate IGF-1. Hey, Steve, what's your favorite pre-contest PD stack? Caloric restriction and cardio. Next, you knew this was coming. NN. If my estrogen is really low, 8, and testosterone is low, 205, after first cycle and have ED, would the use of enclomiphene and Nolva crush even more estradiol, or would you recommend HCG? You need to watch the PCT video. And buy the PCT ebook before it's no longer available, because I'm going to take those ebooks offline. Yeah. So let me link the PCT video. 1 second. Oh, I'm on the wrong spot. So first, you need to restore testicular function by adding in the HCG. I would recommend. Oh, this is 1 minute. That's the wrong one. Add in the HCG. Let's say 1,000 IUs 3 times per week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Run it for 2 or 3 weeks until you feel good again. And then you add in the Nolvadex and enclomiphene. 25 milligrams enclomiphene and maybe 20 milligrams Nolvadex. Run it for 4 weeks. You know, it really depends on your cycle, how long you were suppressed. Because if your cycle was short and it was just TRT, after your first cycle, you didn't do anything crazy, then your PCT doesn't have to be so aggressive compared to a generally recommended PCT, which steroid users take, right? 50 milligrams in clomiphene for a week, and then 25 milligrams in clomiphene for 3 weeks. It's per day, 50 milligrams per day for a week, and 25 milligrams per day for 3 weeks. And Nolvadex, you would do 40 milligrams. But in this case, your estradiol is already low, so you can probably get away with 20 milligrams Nolvadex, right? To keep your estrogen low and not have to use so much clomiphene to block the estrogen receptors, because there's not so much estrogen to block. No, Nolvadex would crush your estrogen a little bit more, but HCG would bring that up. And of course, if LH and FSH levels go up, then testosterone synthesis will increase, and thus serum estradiol levels will increase also. Yeah, so watch those videos, buy that ebook, give yourself a protocol, which is based on what I recommend in those videos and ebooks. And then take it from there, because I don't know how long your first cycle was and when you stopped. And you know, what the exact protocol would be. So do some more research and figure it out. Will there be a video about steroids, peptides worth a try for health anabolism? Dude, go watch this channel. There's hundreds of videos about those topics. All right. Let's see. Kevin Gia, 125 milligrams testosterone, 4 IUs of growth hormone. Last night in the shower, I noticed petechia all over my glutes and upper thighs right after the growth hormone injection. What the hell is that? Thoughts? I don't know what that is. Petechia on legs. I'm sure I'm going to get pictures, images. Oh, that looks pretty brutal. Looks like an allergic response. So maybe change the brand of growth hormone. Yeah, seek medical attention, they say. I've never seen anybody experience this. I've had anaphylactic shock on Mod C. That was pretty brutal. Close to it. Yeah, that's why I don't want to run that again. So I would stop this growth hormone, see how long it takes to go away, and otherwise seek medical attention. That's what they recommend on Google. How does it feel to be back on HRT? Like riding a bicycle again. Now, I was riding a bicycle for a year. Now I'm on a motorcycle. Big fucking difference, dude. I had 4 awesome workouts. Yes, what is the question, Buster? You've been saying hey Steve twice, but I don't see a question. And don't forget to attach your question so I can answer it. Best weekly fasting dose. When, Uncle Steve? Best weekly fasting. What? Just don't eat for a week. I mean, formulate your question a little bit better, because I don't know what the fuck you mean, dude. What can I take in order to support heart, arteries, veins, cardiolipids, heart rate, blood pressure on point? Healthy diet, cardatone, telmisartan, but not in combination. You have to go with one or the other. A vitamin K and calcium-rich foods, but not calcium supplements. Vitamin D3, magnesium with each meal. Daily fast cardio, and that's about it. A healthy heart, arteries, and veins is a lifetime commitment, right? It's not just something that you do. It's something you incorporate into your lifestyle. And then, fingers crossed, you don't suffer negative consequences later on, right? Because you have to do everything right if you want to bring your health down slightly by taking performance-enhancing drugs, which are ultimately about risk mitigation. None of them are safe. So yeah, and it really depends on what PEDs you're taking and how hard you need to go on the ancillaries, or how hard you need to go on the risk mitigation. Because TRT, I think, is minimal risk. But if you do a full-blown steroid cycle for bodybuilding competition and you have 3 bodybuilding shows per year, yeah, you'll be on a boatload of ancillaries. I've been fasting for 2 weeks for 20 hours and eating around 600 calories, and I lost 5.5 kilos. That's not fasting. That's that's 1 meal per day. That's OMAD, bro. 600 calories. Jeez, I could eat a lot more. I can lose 5.5 kilos in a week of full fasting. Anyway, nice. Good luck. I hope it's all fat and not muscle tissue also. And I wouldn't be able. I did three rounds of 1 week of fasting with weekly refeeds. That was pretty brutal. I think I lost like 8 kilos. I look like a little boy after that. Getting redness with subQ testosterone enanthate MCT oil daily, 0.1 milliliter. Should I switch to shallow intramuscular switch products? Any other suggestions? Yeah, give intramuscular injections a try for a week, but if you still get redness and post-injection pain, then maybe you're not responding to the MCT oil, or the brew actually contains ethyl oleate that you're not responding well to, which is undisclosed. That happens more often than you think. So if you still get post-injection pain or redness or issues with subcutaneous injections or intramuscular administrations, then switch brands. So you have 1 week to source something else, and then you go with IM in the meantime until something new arrives. This we can answer without super chats. I'm curious, what are your favorite cigars and why? Cohiba Maduro 5 Genius size. This fucking big. You smoke a cigar like this, they're like fuck $100 now. I don't know what happened with the inflation. Cohiba Genius Maduro 5. Let me see if I can find a website. Oh, a box of 25. Oh, they sell it in Basel. I should get some because I have $2,700. Holy fuck. Yeah, so they're like over $100 each. I'm going to post it below. The reason why is because they taste better than anything else I've tried. Forget about Cigalos. That shit is child's play. Forget about luxury Padrones. This is the shit. Cohiba Maduro 5 Genius. Or Genios. However you pronounce it. This is next level. And then you pair that with the Yamazaki 12-year-old double cask. Or 18 years old double cask. Yeah. Only on birthdays or when you have something to celebrate, because smoking $125 away, that's pretty snobby. Yeah. Star Piercer. Any good preventative medicine blood work clinics that you know of in Europe? I usually interpret myself, but professional opinion would be nice. Well, Europe is a pretty big country, or a big region of the world. So, preventative blood work clinics. I mean, in Holland, there's Andros, I think, for hormone replacement therapy, and a couple places where you can do out of pocket. But usually, just type it into Google, and private blood work with the city that you're currently in. If you're traveling around a lot, that's what I did when I traveled. I just Googled it, and then found a place close by, or traveled to a place that's close by. Because, like in the UK, you have Eval and a couple other places where you can do blood work out of pocket, right? And in Holland, you have Andros, but in France, dude, I really don't know. Or in Germany, I really don't know. So, specify the country. There's always a way, man. There's always a way. And if there's no way, then you stop paying taxes there and you get the fuck out and you go pay taxes somewhere else where they actually respect your health. It's that simple. Can do blood work out of pocket? Fuck you guys. You go somewhere else. Buster, all right. Finally got his question in. Got blood work done because low libido and poor sleep. DHEA sulfate, 1 micromolar per liter, so that's below the reference range. Progesterone, undetectable. What doses of pregnenolone and DHEA would you suggest? I would start with 25 milligrams pregnenolone and 50 milligrams DHEA, split AM and PM. But if that doesn't work, take everything before bed, because both pregnenolone and DHEA, and might as well add in 500 milligrams GABA to improve sleep quality. And then slowly over time, libido and sleep quality should improve, right? So again, 25 milligrams pregnenolone, 50 milligrams DHEA, 500 milligrams GABA, because that's probably low because your progesterone levels are low. And of course, progesterone contributes to GABAergic signaling. So go in all three. And then maybe later on, when your sleep quality improves and you can sleep without the GABA, or you can sleep normally again, take the GABA out, because it is a little bit sedating. And of course, being super sedated in the evening is not so good for your libido. But your libido will return when your sleep quality improves. Yeah. I became a member. Nice. If I do daily fasted cardio, I lose around 500 grams daily. Yeah, if you fast that much on 600 calories, don't forget your HCG, man. That's HCG diet protocol. Zoltan. What was it? What was that? What is it? Zoltan sign? Let me double check. Yeah. Sultan hand gesture. I'm not making fun of you, dude, but if you know what was it? Dudes wear my dudes wear my car. Dude, where's my car? Go watch that movie. Inject 200 milligrams testosterone. Annotate testosterone levels 1500 nanograms per deciliter. Estradiol 50 picograms per milliliter, not mole. And SHBG around 7. Holy shit! Why is it so low? I tried metformin, T3, T4, and AI to raise my SHBG and it won't go over 10. What should I do? All SERMs, but those are not very sustainable. Man, that's very low, dude. Are you sure you're eating enough? Are you like, yeah? Maybe stop the testosterone for a while. Take the Proviron out that you're not telling us about. Man, what else? I forgot. I think those are the most important ones. You probably already watched the SHBG video, right? One second. Make SHBG great again. Can't find it. Oh, low SHBG. There it is. Excuse me. Usually when I make videos, then I kind of forget. What all the finer nuances, because I've been researching all of the Trembolone stuff, and that fills my brain. All right, so I don't mention it in the. That sucks. Now let me scroll through my own video. These are lowering. Fasting, reducing steroid intake, reducing injection frequency, thyroid medication, HCG. That's something you can try. Where are we? You can add in some HCG, but then you have to lower your testosterone to 150 milligrams per week. And again, if you're injecting every single day, you might have to reduce your injection frequency. SH can increase SHBG, superphysiological estradiol levels, but you're good there. Ecdysterone, testosterone, that's very expensive for what you want. Estradiol, I don't think so, and selective estrogen receptor modulators. No, so reduce your injection frequency and look into HCG. Maybe 250 or 500 IUs 3 times per week in between your testosterone administrations, 50 milligrams Monday, Wednesday, Friday. See if that works. Give that 4 weeks. And then take it from there. And otherwise, it might just be you. Some people just have low SHBG levels. And coming off TRT will raise it, obviously. But then as soon as you go back on it, it will come down again. So unfortunately, sometimes it's just unmanageable. Test 72 hours post-injection, pin Monday, Thursday. Phase velocity. What was your question? It's like 20 minutes ago. Oh, test is 72 hours. Okay, so you wanted to know what to pin. Okay. 72 hours after the last injection, they want him to go in for blood work. Where is it? Pin Monday, Thursday, 72 hours post-injection. I would just stop 72 hours before the test, and then your levels can be nice and low so you can increase your script. Yeah, he said, yeah, I injected on Monday, man. I injected on Monday. I don't know why it's so low. I might be a fast metabolizer, you know? Yeah, that would be the way to do it. And you just don't tell them that you were doing daily microadministrations, which lower your serum concentration, but does not seem to have any kind of a negative effect regarding your anabolism, libido, or anything other besides influencing your aromatization and your 5-alpha reduction into the metabolites. Octavian, it's pointless, man. I stopped asking for likes. What checkup do you want to do to make sure your cardiovascular health is good and that you have no clots? Or clots, you can check your platelet levels and your D-dimer levels, but of course that might fluctuate because I think D-dimer levels come back down to baseline in 10 days or something. Let me double check that. Baseline. I think it's 10 days. Something like that. Well, I can't find it this quick. Yeah. In a deep vein thrombosis, D-dimer levels remain elevated for about 7 days. So if you have a clot, 7 to 10 days. So check your platelets and your D-dimer levels. Take it from there. And if you want to do a scan, I would do an MRI on your heart with contrast to see if blood flows through your heart normally. And then, of course, if you want to check for plaque buildup, which has nothing to do with blood clots, but it would be good to check for plaque if you have a cardiovascular disease in your family and you take steroids. Because if you have plaque in a coronary artery or another artery in your heart and you do have a blood clot, guess what? It can easily get stuck and now you're dead. Any tips and suggestions on supplements for aiding in recovery of the central nervous system after several workouts of failure and beyond in every set? 5 milliliters cerebral lysine intramuscularly before bed. That's probably the best CNS recovery aid you can take. Raw strength. Hey, Steve, thanks for all your knowledge. How would you invest 100K? Do you think it's too late to get into Bitcoin or Ethereum for the cycle? No, not at all. Not at all. I would dollar cost average into Bitcoin and for now, and when Ethereum breaks the downward trend. But if this cycle is now overextended by 6 months compared to the previous cycles where there was a little recovery and then quite a dip, then we might be coming down to the 100-week moving average at one point, right? Will that happen with the buying pressure of the ETFs? Maybe, maybe not. So since we don't know what's going to happen, I would advise you to buy every dip, $10,000 at a time. So you have 10 investment opportunities. Some will be higher, some will be lower, but you dollar cost average. So you could sit there waiting for it to come down to the 100-week moving average and just watch the chart go up while you're hoping for it to come down. And now by the time you get in, we're already at the top and now it goes down. And now you lost 80% of your asset. But if you slowly dollar cost average in every support, like if you go to TradingView, I can't do that here because I don't have an account on this. Let me see, Binance. You go to the chart, pop-ups, beat it. You go to the day chart and you draw a line in the sand from, what's the date? Let's say the 28th of February to now. It's the 13th of April. You draw a line from the 28th of February to now. And you see that on the day chart, it's testing the support. Now, will it break through support? We don't know. But when it's resting on support for a day or two, it's usually a good opportunity to buy. Now, you might want to set your stop loss with a 5% margin. So now maybe you invest $10,000. And then, you see what happens when it comes to the upper resistance, which is also a fictitious line. You can draw from the 12th of March to now. So it went from 30 or 73,500 to now the line is, let's say, 71,000. So in a small trade, you can make, if the lines are respected, 6%. So you turn your $10,000 into $10,600. That's a win already. Of course, assuming that you sell. But you can also buy and let it sit for, I don't know, 1.5 years till the end of 2025 when the Bitcoin bull run is expected to come down. And I would only invest in Ethereum right now when it breaks trend, because it just, if you look at the Bitcoin Ethereum chart, it just keeps going down and down and down. So why the fuck would you put money in there? When it's just losing, it's just bleeding against Bitcoin. All right, super chats galore. TMAO came back high. And what's the protocol to lower it? You need to kill the bacteria in your intestinal tract that are forming TMA, which is then converting into TMAO in the liver. 100 milligrams doxycycline morning and evening for 10 days, 14 days is usually enough to kill all of the bacteria that contribute to TMAO formation. It also kills all of the good bacteria, so now you need to repopulate your gut microbiome. And the good bacteria will also contribute to neurotransmitter synthesis, including serotonin. So you might feel a little bit down and depressed for a while. So please research the gut microbiome and how it contributes to neurotransmitter synthesis and overall well-being. Because once you kill all of them, you know, it takes a while for you to feel good again. Or you can remove the carnitine and the choline from your diet, which is hard because it's found in animal meat sources, and you need animal meat sources for animalism. Don't bring vegan shit up, because those guys have all kinds of other metabolic issues. So, right, give some, lose some. Matthew Gregg, hey Steve, on 230 milligrams testosterone per week, 10 milligrams pregnenolone, 25 milligrams DHA every day. Progesterone was undetectable. Free testosterone 18.5 picograms per milliliter, SHBG 41, estradiol 51. Will adding HCG address the progesterone levels? Maybe it's worth a shot. It's worth a shot. So maybe add in 500 IOs HCG 3 times per week and increase the pregnenolone levels to 25 milligrams, and take it from there. Sometimes it takes a while for progesterone levels to come up because it's only a moment in time. And if you took your pregnenolone the day before, it converts into progesterone, but by the next day, progesterone levels are undetectable. That could be what is going on. There's no reservoir for progesterone, right? You have pregnenolone sulfate, DHA sulfate, but I don't think there's a progesterone sulfate. I might be mistaken here. Progesterone sulfate, is that a thing? It has sulfated progesterone metabolites. No, yeah, pregnenolone sulfate, but no progesterone sulfate. Can't remember seeing anything like that. So maybe just converting, and then it converts into glucocorticoids or mineralocorticoids downstream. Increase your pregnenolone, add in the HCG, and then retest in a month. See what happens. But if you like undetectable progesterone levels, besides regulating GABAergic signaling, allowing you to relax a little bit, I don't think that there's so much of an overlap regarding your well-being. So if you currently feel, that you can't sleep properly, maybe that's the reason. And 25 milligrams pregnenolone should be able to improve your sleep quality if it's not optimized because your progesterone levels are so low. I found out I had a polymorphism in my DIO2 thyroid enzyme. Free cortisol levels are flatlined. Prescribed T3 12.5 micrograms daily. Would an NDT or T4 T3 combo be better? TSH was 2, but all the symptoms. Okay, so I don't know what the polymorphism is, so I can't advise here because I have no idea what that polymorphism entails and why your cortisol levels are flatlined. So I would continue to discuss this with your prescribing physician and not with me, because I have no idea. I'm sorry. Let's see. Thoughts on low drive motivation with total testosterone of 12 nanograms per deciliter and HCG on cycle normal blood panels, but no desire to work out or push through workouts. Lifting weights hits doesn't feel good. Micronutrient deficiency, lack of sleep, Lyme's disease. I don't know, elevated cortisol levels from stress from school, work, girlfriend. Try to piece it together. Maybe too much weed smoking. Right? That's a chronic spiral into nothingness. You have low drive and motivation, so you smoke weed, and then the weed is giving you even less drive and less motivation. That's a vicious spiral, man. I've seen it happen in Holland millions of times. Yeah, those guys are still ended up nowhere. They're now like 40 years old, still smoking weed every day. If you're Snoop Dogg, okay, fine. Right? If you're an artist, fine. But well, you guys know my stance on chronic weed smoking. So try to pinpoint the cause, because your testosterone levels are nice and high. Your HCG is also in place. And if your blood panels are normal, then I know. Maybe you've lost the will to go to the gym. Maybe you need to pick up another sport. If it doesn't feel good, maybe you're magnesium deficient. Maybe your electrolyte balance is completely off. Maybe you're not eating enough. Maybe your micronutrients are not sufficient, right? The health and energy levels and well-being is more than 1,200 nanograms testosterone on your blood work results. So hit it from all angles, man. That's what she likes. Hey, Steve, I'm on TRT. Man, so much TRT questions. Nobody does steroids anymore. I'm on TRT 150 milligrams for 5 years now and like to go off. Can I go on HCG for 3 months until I take it out and start enclomiphene and Nolvadex? HCG 3 times 250 IUs per week. Better high dose HCG for 2 weeks, 1,000 IUs every other day. No, if you're going to go on HCG for 3 months, I think 250 IUs 3 times per week is enough to sustain testicular function. Maybe once you feel good and your serum levels are increased, then you wean off the testosterone from 150 to 100 milligrams per week to kind of have similar levels as you do now. Then maybe at one point you take the testosterone out, you stay on HCG for another 4 to 6 weeks. You should still feel normal, and then you start your post-cycle therapy from HCG one day to the next, because it will take a while from enclomiphene and Nolvadex to block the estrogen receptors, reduce estrogen levels to the point luteinizing hormone, follicle-stimulating hormone levels come up again, and by that time the HCG is already metabolized. So you might have a dip of about a week or two, and then slowly but surely LH and FSH levels will come up. You might need to be on enclomiphene and Nolvadex for 4 to 6 weeks, because you were on TRT shut down basically for 5 years straight. And after taking steroids for over a decade, I've given up for this signal. I've given up. That's why I was on HCG and FSH for an entire year, because not enough LH and FSH on my pituitary, man. And again, give that enclomiphene and Nolvadex protocol 4 to 6 weeks a try. Stay off for 2 months, and if it doesn't bounce back, 3 months at maximum. If it doesn't bounce back, then, well, TRT is there forever, but you keep the HCG in for fertility purposes. And otherwise, you got to blast the HCG, man. 1,000 IUs every other day or 3 times per week with FSH. My fertility parameters came back absolutely sweet on that protocol. Yeah, after about 6 months. Pricey, though. Man, I spent so much money on HCG and FSH, and I got a friendly price from AP. AC, $5. Let's see. Is there a question? There it is. I'm on 200 milligrams testosterone. Tried RADs in the past. It was okay. Tried on tests, palpitations, looking for strength. Up the test or Anavar. Safest way. The safest way, if you get palpitations on testosterone, the safest way is to get a script through Merrick Health or another TRT clinic that is able to help you. Because if you get heart palpitations on your testosterone right now and you're a SARM goblin, I hate to say it, dude, but you're on RAD 140, so you can't be that smart, then you need some help sourcing proper pharmaceutical testosterone so you don't get heart palpitations or an adverse reaction from the synthetic carrier oils that you're using right now. And guess what? Some of these hormone replacement therapy clinics can also prescribe Anavar if you're a candidate. So get some medical supervision and get your health in order, and don't touch SARMs. SARMs are for losers. Please. Or kids. Right? Kids with their mom's credit cards. It's a swipe. Yeah, I'm going to use some creatine in tablet form. Brandon Kelly, it's the morning of your exam, 10 a.m., and you wake up at 5. What are you taking and eating before and when. And only things off limits for me is likely Adderall because I don't have it. Yeah, story of my life. Nupept and Dihexa, 10 milligrams each, works all day. I think that's enough. I think the combination is absolutely stellar. No, I think that's absolutely stellar. And I would follow a ketogenic diet beforehand. Um, some vegetables, some salmon, no carbohydrates. Gives me brain fog. Vegetables and salmon, man. 2 meals, or maybe steak and vegetables. Add a little bit of avocado or seeds and nuts. Not too much food, so you're not focusing on digesting. You're focusing on the exam. But I would be able to kill the exam on Dihexa and Nupept and coffee and water, and then eat afterwards, and then smoke my cigar because I know I killed it. When do you recommend taking a few IUs of growth hormone before competing? Okay, so growth hormone increases fullness. And of course, before the competition, you want to increase fullness on stage, right? So we have carbohydrates that increase fullness. We have fat loading that increases fullness. Creatine increases fullness. Adenosine monophosphate injections increase fullness, but it also makes you hyperventilate like crazy. And I think for your class, Alexandra Carrera, I don't think that you need adenosine monophosphate 10 milliliters into the glutes. But growth hormone allegedly worked very well for one of my favorite female athletes. 6 IUs to 8 IUs split out in between meals. So you do a 2-day carb load, 1 day fat load. On the second day of carb loading, obviously the glycemic index of the carbohydrates are a little bit reduced. So you do 1 IU, let's say, intramuscularly in the upper glute, what is otherwise covered by the posing trunk, so you don't see any lumps and bumps when you're on stage. So only inject subcutaneously or intramuscularly where the posing suit is going to cover it. So I would do those injections right in between the butt cheeks. Good luck. 1 IU, 1.2 IU. In between meals, posing in between, so you don't have to worry about this loss of insulin sensitivity. And then the same thing you do the next day when you reduce the carbs, you fat load. And you might be able to increase the growth hormone to, let's say, 10 IUs, 12 IUs, depending on how you look. 2 days of growth hormone increases fullness and athletic appearance tremendously. It's like it's night and fucking day. It's night and fucking day. Trust me, for your next show, you use a light diuretic, maybe a half a hydrochlorothiazide or diazide, order if it's needed to remove whatever water you have. You will look so good. It looks like you're ready to run track and field. The muscle would look so athletic and so dry, but yet so juicy and full. Man, I love peaking athletes, dude. Yeah. Yeah, you will love it. Trust me. I had so many women win on growth hormone, and since it's undetectable, right, in those water doping tests, you just run it all the way to the show, man. Even on the morning of the show, boom, 2 IUs growth hormone, step on stage, everything nice and bubbly. Still pass the doping test. Fucking assholes. Igor is an Ascor today. What do you recommend to follow regarding PEDs health? Always checked every video on your channel I found interesting. Who do you recommend to follow regarding PEDs and health? Basically, all the people that I collaborate with. All right, otherwise I wouldn't collaborate with them. So, Chase Irons, Paul Barnett, Kurt Havens, Dr. Dean St. Mart, Ryan Ballo, Derek, more plates, more dates. Even though we haven't collaborated in 1.5 years because Derek is on a permanent holiday, it seems. Alec Matrevsky, Scott McNally, Andrew Barry, Skip Hill, Scott Stevenson. Just look for anybody that I collaborated with and follow their advice, because I only collaborate with people that I would follow advice from myself. It's yeah. So hopefully I didn't leave anybody out, but basically anybody that I collaborated with. Yeah, so all you have to do is type in, you go to Vigorous Podcast playlist and just give those people a watch. Big House, is it possible to get vitamin B deficiency from eating so much empty carbs, such as white rice? And if so, how to ensure adequate amount of vitamin B? Well, you take a vitamin B complex in the morning and the evening, and now you're covered. It's not rocket science. All right, scrolling. How far am I behind? 15 minutes. Eleonora, 30-year-old female with polycystic ovarian disease and highly sexual hormonal levels. PED suggestions, how to deal with the sides, acne, hair thin. Yeah, I'm unfortunately not familiar with polycystic ovarian syndrome. So I would recommend you do a consultation with Victoria Felkar, who is the fucking goat when it comes to female health. I'll link her Instagram down below. 1 second. Because I never had to face that with any of my clients. Not with my wife, not with any of my female clients. Never, ever did a consultation or coached a woman that had these symptoms. So I never had to look into it. And since I stopped coaching now, and since my audience is, 99.9999% male, I don't research these kinds of things. So maybe vitamin B5 megadosing will work. Estranine, no birth control. I don't know. I'm really sorry. I can't really help, but I would suggest you talk with Victoria Velkar, who is very knowledgeable on female reproductive health, polycystic ovarian disease, and might also be able to help with, PED suggestions, and deal with side effects like acne, thin hair, mood swings, and cellulite. Really. After every time I talk with her, I'm talking about hormonal advice. Unfortunately, Victoria Velkar is not really on social media. But she should. Yeah, she would fucking break this industry in half when it comes to female health. I'm on 6. I use growth hormone every other day. I got bloody diarrhea. Do you think there's a correlation? No. I've heard GH causes colon polyps and cancer. No, growth hormone doesn't cause any polyps or cancer, but it can accelerate cancer formation if it's present. So if you're worried, take the growth hormone out, fast for 2 days, schedule a colonoscopy, and have somebody look up your butthole with a camera to see if there's any polyps or intestinal cancer, right? A colorectal cancer. And if that's not present, you do a cancer marker screening through blood work, and then you reintroduce the growth hormone. And 2 days of fasting will probably fix your diarrhea, just like it does with most pets. Fix my diarrhea. If you don't eat anything, how can you have diarrhea? And then 2 days later, you heal yourself and the diarrhea is gone. Yeah, no antibiotics required. Free Me USA. Okay. 59 years old, very low testosterone levels due to stress event. Started in clomiphene, brought me to 900. Oh, wow. Well, great news. Always had high estrogen since adolescence, 30 points out of range. Tested recently, dropped into the 600s. Yeah, and the problem is with enclomiphene, since it's blocked the estrogen receptors, it prevents the estrogen from binding to the estrogen receptors, and thus serum concentrations go up. So you need an aromatase inhibitor or switch to HCG monotherapy. Again, keep in mind, enclomiphene is associated with issues long term. And especially since it hasn't been fully investigated like clomiphene has, which is about 2/3 enclomiphene, it's very safe to say that enclomiphene, just like Clomid, can cause blood clots, ocular changes, reduces in IGF-1 levels, liver enzyme increases, affects your bone mineralization. So I don't like SERMs unless it's for post-cycle therapy, not for long-term. You clearly know that your testicles are responsive to the increased LH and FSH levels. So why don't you take HCG monotherapy instead? Yes, you'll have to inject. You take HCG monotherapy, and an aromatase inhibitor to control your estradiol levels. And then I think your serum testosterone will be 900 or maybe even higher, but your serum estradiol levels will be 50 instead of 600. All right, so keep adjusting until you feel good. Weird question. Didn't you once say not to trust pharmaceuticals for India? Yes. Third world pharmaceuticals from India, I would not fucking trust at all. But orals, actual medications, not AAS from third world country are all right. Freeing, I could probably buy some. So if you go to some of those online pharmacies that are in India, I think all of those generics are fine. But the injectables, the problem is you don't know, because the third world pharmaceuticals that produce steroids for export, right, without naming any names, they never list the carrier oil. They never do it. And I've used many of these brands myself, and I always got terrible inflammation. This is why I always alert you guys to stick with pharmaceutical injectables. Now, that doesn't mean that the pharmaceutical injectables from India are good, because most of them are produced in arachids oil, which can also be inflammatory for some people. So let me link the carrier oil video down below. That being said, third world pharmaceutical companies, some of them might still produce good orals. And then you only have to worry about the binder, which is usually a non-issue. So I found that most of those third world pharmaceuticals are pretty on point when it comes to their halotestin or Anavar or Romacin. I mean, I've used that myself and recommended that to clients. I just say stick with pharmaceutical, injectables, or run a reliable underground lab that actually lists the carrier oil. But if you want to buy something locally or from one of these online pharmacies, it's generic, go for it. Usually works. Usually works. Is it 100% as good as the branded one? Probably not. That's why it's called generics, right? Chinese generics are never 100% as good as pharmaceutical grade, but it can come pretty fucking close. And if it's significantly cheaper, then, well, that also factors into your decision. Me USA started a modified fake natty protocol with the enclomiphene. 25 milligrams tesno ester. Wait a minute. So you said you got your testosterone levels up to 900, and now you're taking tesno ester. All right. 27 milligrams tesno ester late afternoon and 10 milligrams pharmaoxandrolone. I want to expand what would be good for my age. Heart and blood work good. I would just take the enclomiphene out, and if you're already injecting testosterone, just go on testosterone annotate and inject that. Take HCG monotherapy or HCG alongside of that, 250 to 500 IUs. Just go on TRT, man. What are you doing taking enclomiphene and then injecting tesno ester? Or are you taking no ester sublingually to bypass the injections? And then 10 milligrams pharmaoxandrolone. If you want to feel good for your age and care about your health, learn how to inject shit. Because enclomiphene is not sustainable, and you can't keep taking sublingual testosterone no ester or injectable, because the post-injection pain is brutal. Yeah, it's true, man. Nobody does steroids anymore. I think everybody got scared. I saw it on the video that I made, right? I mean, I made a video about my HRT plus protocol, and people said, I never heard about these compounds. That's why I came to this fucking channel, to learn something new. Otherwise, you can go to all the TRT optimization YouTube channels and learn the same shit, same regurgitated shit you can find everywhere else. Somebody has to push the industry forward. All right, might as well be me and the guys that I collaborate with. Right, because the Dean and Kurt and all these other guys, I mean, they push the industry forward hard. Yeah, Iron Grit, you've now been assigned to, put everything into quotes. How far am I behind? Oh, very far. All right, let me scroll down. Charlie. All right, is there a question with that? I don't see it. How to raise SHBG levels, currently at 14. I watched the video that I just linked down below. Did I link it? I think I linked it. Is it the second one from the top? Yeah, just already linked it. Thyroid hormones. Let's see. Fasting, reducing your injection frequency, thyroid hormones, selective estrogen receptor modulators, exogenous estradiol, HCG, FSH, and ecdysterone and testosterone, and selective estrogen receptor modulators. I think I probably double mentioned it, but it's all in the video. Hey Steve, I'm after bicep rupture surgery. Do you recommend keto for diet for recovery? Well, you're probably going to be immobilized and not training so much. So yeah, reducing your carbohydrate intake and increasing your protein and healthy fat intake would be advised. And then you do the typical recovery protocol of TB500, BBC157, growth hormone, oxandrolone, collagen peptides, hyaluronic acid, vitamin C, and maybe silica for increased collagen synthesis. But that's all explained in the TB500 and BPC 157 videos. AC, sorry, I mistyped. I'm on 200 milligrams test and blood work are great. Added in around 4 weeks, had palpitations. Oh, you had palpitations in around 140. Okay. Should I up the test for strength and Anavar? Yes. If the palpitations are from rat, then you've learned your lesson. You dirty SARM goblin piece of no. Anyway, so yeah, SARMs are for quitters, as you just experienced. Up the test and add in the VAR. Right? If you want increased strength, 300 tests and 10 milligrams, 300 milligrams a test per week, and 10 milligrams Anavar per day. I mean, I'm on 150 tests and 10 milligrams Anavar per day, 150 tests per week, and GH, and IGF-1. So my mileage might vary. Yeah, PRs, man. Not compared to before, but man, I fucking trained so hard. It was great. Yeah, grunts galore. Gonna start losing my voice again. Hey Steve, 8 weeks of 50 milligrams testosterone cypionate every day. Labs, total testosterone double out of the reference range. Estradiol also double out of the reference range, but no symptoms. Started Primo 50 milligrams twice a week. So that's 350 tests versus 100 milligrams Primo. Plan to stay off AI since adding Primo. Labs in 4 weeks. Dude, I go on 350 milligrams Primo because a 1-to-1 ratio is probably favorable enough, assuming you have average body fat levels, to bring your estradiol from 97 to 45. Yeah, or 200 tests, 200 Primo, so your anabolic intake is pretty much the same, right? So you don't get any bigger, any smaller, but your estrogen levels come down and you look better because 200 milligrams of Primo can sure make a difference. Yeah, so athletic, so dry and juicy too, man. This is the word when you're like prepping your wife, and then the night before she's like, or the day of prime peaked, and then you can't hit it. But after the show, oh man, I will tell you this: Pro-Tan, foamy. Oh, you guys have no idea. You guys have no idea, man. Foamy AF. Can't wait. Can't wait to shower. Maybe in the shower. Yeah, it's a mess, dude. It's a mess. Further proving my point, we need a quote thread. Yeah, okay. Ingrid, you start collecting the quotes, and then maybe we can make some t-shirts. So athletic, so dry and juicy too, with a picture of my wife. Yeah, just print it out. Start walking around the expo. People will know. In fact, she was so good when she was competing. Yeah, hot as fuck. Started 2, I use growth hormone after deviated septum surgeries or anything else that would heal me up faster. TB500, BPC 157, collagen peptides, vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, silica, 10 milligrams Anavar, and yeah, that's about it. No, that's about it. No name. Do you incorporate extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil into your keto diet? I see you're into nuts. You might want to rephrase that one, buddy. Yeah, you might want to rephrase that. No, I stopped taking oils because I feel that it absorbs too fast. So I'd rather eat nuts and seeds or avocado itself because you get some fiber, some micronutrients. And of course, extra virgin olive oil or extra virgin avocado oil no longer has the micronutrients. Of course, it has the healthy fats, but it's basically refined oil, which is the same as refined sugar. Right? I'm sure many of you are going to contest this, but I prefer to chew my food. And oils I can get from avocado, nuts, and seeds. And I have, you know, olives with my salad. So I'm sure I get some olive oil in every single day that way. Luan, let's see. I've seen some discussion on doctors giving only HCG instead of TRT to clients. Yeah, that's been around forever, man. What's your take on that? I think I'm one of the first who talked about HCG monotherapy in the fitness industry, albeit that doctors have been doing this in the context of fertility for decades now. So I was one of the first to talk about it, or at least never heard anybody else in the fitness industry talk about it as a viable option. I did it with my clients for over a decade. How much could a natty, a non-test efficient gain from doing HCG only? I've seen guys go up to 1,500 nanograms per deciliter, from 600 to 1,500. Yeah, some guys. I mean, I was 800, but I'm old, and my HPTA was impaired, and my testicles were shut down for over a decade. So don't expect too much. But maybe if you never touch steroids, I know we did a consultation, but I can't remember what we talked about because I do so many consultations every day. So give it a try, man. HCG monotherapy can bring your testosterone levels up like over the reference range. Really? Yeah. It's a viable option. I recommended it to guys 5 years ago, and they're still running HCG monotherapy because they just fucking love it. You know, they have full loads, like 4 milliliters, 5 milliliters every time they come, and they never touch testosterone. Their serum testosterone levels like 1,200 to 1,300 or something. Estradiol levels are under control either with a small dose of an aromatase inhibitor or proviron or dinomethane calcium deglucarate, or their body fat levels are low, so they don't need an aromatase inhibitor, right? It's very individual. Brandon Kelly, you changed my life more than you know. Okay, good. This is what I want to hear. Steve, plan to follow the ketogenic diet with avocado beforehand, but never tried dihexa and Nupep. So excited. Yeah, it's good stuff, man. I started reintroducing all the nootropics again. So Steve's back on the high productivity train. But that Trimlone video, Jesus fucking Christ, man. 800, 900 studies that I had to go through. And I still have to go through the Hirschberger bioassays. But then I can give you a new anabolic to androgenic rating based on the molecular weight. Yeah. Not on the lever animal. Well, lever animal muscle, of course, changes will be into consideration. But this will be molecule for molecule, not this bullshit where they compare trenbolone acetate versus nandrolone acetate. But then the references are nowhere to be found, right? None of that shit. Fully cited based on the molecular, like one trenbolone molecule versus one molecule of testosterone based on testosterone propionate, right? Discounting for the ester, discounting for the molecular weight, one molecule versus one molecule. This takes time. I will start recording when that's ready. Got completely sidetracked, but yeah, the dihexa and the Nupep is helping. Yeah, for sure. Don't take that every day, though. It'll make you feel fucking wired. Ovidu. On 250 milligrams testosterone enanthate, 500 milligrams Primo, I'm experiencing flu-like symptoms, pain in the body, sometimes high body temperature, interior fever. Stop using fucking underground labs. I linked the Carrier Oral video down below. It's 100% the oil that you're injecting. Switch to pharmaceutical testifirin, switch to pharmaceutical Bayer Mebolin, and these issues will go away within 3 days. I promise you. I promise you that. Yeah. 100%. What is the detection time of Anavar? I think it's 21 days, but I still need to go through the... So when I started the best dose of steroid XYZ series, I wanted to go into high dose studies, list some unique characteristics, do the detection time and stuff. But then for testosterone Anavar, I didn't really do that because I was still kind of figuring my way out on what I wanted to do with this series. So Anavar, I will 100% revisit because, well, look at the fucking views, right? The Anavar video has 150,000 views, whereas all the other ones are not doing so well, which is a shame. And it's not the thumbnails because all the thumbnails are the same. All right, it's all AI bodybuilders to spark your interest. And then people are complaining about, you shouldn't use these thumbnails. All right, fuck off then. Go watch somebody else's YouTube channel. Detection time of Anavar based on memory is 21 days, but I could be mistaken because I haven't dived into the literature for a while. And since I don't really do, consultations for this kind of stuff anymore, I need to update it. So once I've gone through, let's see, I need to do boldenone, nandrolone, dihydroboldenone, and then proviron, stanozolol, dianabol, and I think that's it. My notes are not. I think I had like 6. Yeah, trenbolone, obviously. I think I had like 7 steroids still left to do, and then I'll do Anavar again and go through all the scientific or the evidence-based unique characteristics, and basically do a part 2/addendum, which will include the evidence-based detection times. For now, I will say 21 days. Are you gonna watch UFC? I've never watched UFC. Who's fighting? Don't say Conor McGregor. UFC 300. Alex, I don't know any of these people. No, I don't know. I don't really watch UFC. I never really. The only fighting sport I find interesting is sumo wrestling. That's so much fun. That's so much fun, especially when the guy starts screaming in Japanese. I don't know what he says, but he's like fighting, 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 and they start slapping each other. But I loved Street Fighter too, and I always played with E Honda, man. So maybe that's it. Never got into UFC. Roadhouse was fun to watch though. It was so obvious that they were fighting on a mat. For the guys that watched Roadhouse, do you guys remember that when they were at the end scene, right, fighting in the bar, and then you look at their feet, you see that the feet are wobbling, and you see that there's indentations on the floor. They're actually on a green screen. That's where they're fighting. So if they fall down, they fall on a green mat. That's all CGI. So why does feet look so weird? Why is there shadow under the heel? Say, oh, it's green screen. They did a good job though, but it was pretty fucking obvious. You know, I can tell because I've seen many photoshops in my day. Alex Ortiz on 200 milligrams testosterone, 500 IUs HCG per week. Is that 3 times per week? Think about going to 250 test. How much can I increase the HCG? What's the ideal ratio? There's no ideal ratio of testosterone to HCG. 500 IUs HCG 3 times per week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, to increase your endogenously produced testosterone levels by about 26%. And then bump up the testosterone with 50 milligrams. So it'll feel you're increasing your hormone intake by about 50%. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah. So you feel like you're on 300 tests, but you're actually on 250 tests and 500 IUs HCG 3 times per week. You will need an aromatase inhibitor unless you're lean. So do your blood work. Best medication for high blood pressure, magnesium. Do you guys want me to say telmisartan? Fuck you, it's magnesium. Magnesium, 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 magnesium. And after that, potassium. 200 milligrams magnesium glycinate with every meal, 5 times per day, 1,000 extra supplemental magnesium on top of the dietary magnesium that you take. And then 4,700 milligrams to, well, 10,000 milligrams potassium, depending on your level of development. You probably don't need telmisartan unless you're taking a boatload of steroids, right? The reason why I added in 20 milligrams telmisartan is because my hormone levels are basically doubling, and it's fucking hot in Thailand. So I already know that my blood pressure is going to go up. My magnesium and potassium intake is on point, but I didn't take steroids for a year, and I know that my blood pressure is going to increase by increasing my body weight, increasing my training intensity, and because it's so freaking hot. In this hot climate during summer, my blood pressure is just a little bit elevated. So 20 milligrams telmisartan for me because I'm doing everything else correctly. But some people might need 40 milligrams telmisartan if they're doing everything incorrectly. Scrolling. Does Primo give a crazy confidence boost? Not really. I felt like walking through the gym doing the billionaire strut last couple of times. Wait until you go on 2 grams a test. It feels like you can flip a bus. Primo ball, yeah. I mean, it's DHT derivative, right? So of course, steroids will give you an increased boost, but I think I was the most confident on 2 grams a test. Yeah, I was just in a fucking great mood and just, I don't know, felt strong. Wanted to go train twice a day and fuck twice a day and post twice per day and do cardio twice per day. So much energy, man. Good stuff. Hey, Steve, what were some of your heaviest lifts? Bench 315. I know it's pathetic. Squat 405 for 2, but it's well, that's obviously unracking the weight. And I think I deadlifted 5 plates. Yeah, I did 5 plates, but that's unracking it and walking back and then deadlifting. It was never off the floor. And that was before I ever took steroids. No, the 315 was on steroids. I did 225 natural, 405 squat natural, and 5 plates deadlift natural. But I could never bench, man. I can't even bench 315 now. I'm a shit bencher. I'll be honest. I can do some exercises and the machine's pretty heavy, as you guys might remember for the guys that have been following me on my Instagram for a long time. But saying that I'm strong is an absolute overstatement. So I know I was focused on the contraction, man. All right, I think it's time for a bathroom break because I've been drinking a lot of water. Give me a second, guys. I'll be right back. We're back. All right. Charlie asks, what combo of testosterone plus HCG would resemble 200 testosterone cypionate? Okay, so 150 milligrams testosterone cypionate or enanthate and 500 IUs HCG 3 times per week. Usually 500 IUs HCG 3 times per week on exogenous testosterone would be equivalent to about 50 milligrams, in some cases 100 milligrams exogenous testosterone. And in some guys, it might be more, right? Maybe you need 100 tests and 500 IUs HCG 3 times per week. So I would say 50 milligrams is usually good, estimate. But some guys, it could be 100 milligrams of an equivalent. And again, some guys, they go on 200 milligrams testosterone cypionate and their serum testosterone levels are, at top of the reference range, 1,500 nanograms per deciliter, slightly superphysiological. And then if they go on 1,000 IUs HCG 3 times per week, they're the same level. So maybe they don't even need the testosterone cypionate. But then again, HCG is expensive, man. HCG is expensive. How to shrink the waist? Go hungry for a while. Yeah, that's the only way. Listen to Nal Nagas where you had lost your voice. It was like you were a different person. Yeah, that was after weeks in the United States talking to people. I lost my voice. This year we'll lose my voice at the Mr. Olympia again. Yes, I'm going. I will be there. It will be fun. Can high ferritin or hematocrit cause fatigue? Yes, it can. Yeah, that's a side effect of high hematocrit. Maybe not necessarily from ferritin, but that could be a side effect of having high hematocrit and high iron levels or being in a high inflammatory state. Or maybe you're just chronically dehydrated. And you can bring your ferritin and hematocrit, well, maybe not ferritin, but hematocrit you can reduce with a couple points if you drink more water. So yeah, if it's like out of the reference range, both reduce your iron intake, maybe do a therapeutic blood donation or use maybe aspirin and a blood thinner or a blood pressure medication to kind of make the blood pump a little bit easier, but a donation might be better. Again, high ferritin and hematocrit, how high, right? That kind of depends the route going forward. What do you say to people who claim you should never sub-Q oil-based solutions and that intramuscular is the only way to go? Enjoy living in the Stone Age. Yeah, I mean, what Eric Chrysler, I think it's Dr. Eric Chrysler. He talked about this a decade ago, or Chrysler. Oh, I forgot his name. There was a doctor who talked about this decade ago on T Nation, I think. And at first he thought it was crazy. And I did subcutaneous injections, and of course it leaves a little bit of a marble behind. But if you do this in the upper glutes where nobody sees it and there's still a good amount of fat left, then it's really not a big deal. I've been doing sub-Q for a very long time now, but I still do my peptides intramuscularly. But the peptides, that's water-based and that disperses quite rapidly. But the oil, especially the oil that I use, castor oil, that's pretty thick, stays behind long. And if I were to do shallow injections with an insulin pen, then the oil stays behind also. And then I have these fat marbles until they metabolize in my skeletal muscle, increasing, scar tissue. With water-based, it's not really an issue with me. So people claim a lot of shit. Yeah. How do you make your thumbnails? They're next level. They're all right. I use Canva. Canva.com. I should relearn how to use relearn how to use Photoshop, but I know I'm lazy. So much stuff I need to do every day. They get the job done. Things can always be better. Is Trinkov dangerous? If you get it every day, it's probably not good for your diaphragm. You probably get cramps. But no, it's I don't know. Could be. I mean, if you're coughing up a lung every day, you're injecting 100 milligrams trembolone acetate, and you have all these inflammatory prostaglandins, which there's no scientific evidence that trembolone increases inflammatory prostaglandins, but we can extrapolate from the scientific evidence nonetheless. Yes, I've been doing my research, guys. Yeah, I mean, if you're coughing a lot and it's very violent, then you might rupture, blood vessels in your eye. Will you die from it? Probably not. It's very. I don't think anybody has ever died from Tren cough, unless you had a blood clot somewhere because you were also on clomiphene or Clomid, and you were vaxxed, right? And you have a coronary artery disease. Then yeah, the Tren cough might have set you off to heaven. Ezra, hey Steve, all your content is all sweet. Thank you. Question: is there an enhancement protocol that would work optimally for somebody who travels as a job? At home for 3 weeks and for 2 weeks, test HCG, etc. Look into the testosterone decanoate, long-acting ester, because if you are away for 2 weeks and you can't bring your medication with you, then you just shoot the 2 weeks worth of testosterone decanoate subcutaneously, and that should hold you over. But of course, the HCG you would need to bring with you. So it depends on where you travel to. If you're traveling to steroid-phobic countries, and if you're traveling, let's say US domestic, you can get a script for both and bring both testosterone and HCG with you. And then if you stay in hotels where they don't have, what is it called? A fridge, just call them up and said, listen, I'm a diabetic. I need a fridge to keep my insulin cool. And they should bring up a fridge. And then you put your HCG in there. Yeah, so you get a script, and then it shouldn't be a non-issue. I know so many guys on TRT that travel all over the US. They're with Merrick Health. They got a script for everything they need, and they have no issue. They have no issue putting it in their carry-on because they just travel with a small carry-on, and they just bring what they need, And then sometimes they get checked and ask, what is this? This is my hormone replacement therapy. Here's my script. Shut the fuck up. Let me through, So... And those guys, I'm sure you're well aware, in the United States. I mean, TRT is being handed out like candy nowadays. So I'm sure the TSA are familiar with what TRT looks like. How would one optimize the release of DNP-like chemicals in our body? DNP to get ultra lean. Guys, don't ask me this shit. Go on, Iron Grit, you know better. Why choose citrus bergamot over berberine? Well, citrus bergamot improves HDL levels, and berberine mostly improves insulin sensitivity. But in combination, they seem to have an overlapping beneficial effect. So if you want to improve your glucose homeostasis and your lipids, take both, albeit that berberine can still lower IGF-1 levels, which kind of sucks. What TUDCA milk twistle dosage? Milk twistle doesn't work. What TUDCA dosage to help liver parameters on 30 milligrams D-bol every day, 600 milligrams testosterone endothate per week, 250 IS HCG 3 times a week, quarter Arimidex every other day, and take around D-bol consumption. Thank you for all that you do for the community. 500 milligrams TUDCA, 250 milligrams morning and evening. I would take it away from the Dianabol. and you take your Dianabol pre-workout. Yeah, because TEDCA increases bile acid production, so you don't need to take it with your orals at the exact same time. If anything, I would take fish oil with your orals, which could potentially improve the absorption of the oral steroids. Um, and then you take your TEDCA morning and evening, 250 milligrams per serving. That should keep your liver enzymes somewhat in range. Now, you might need to increase your Arimidex dose because methyl estradiol coming from the Dianabol is pretty brutal. Yeah. Keep in mind that the intestinal tract also has aromatase enzymes. So if you want to minimize the conversion of Dianabol into methyl estradiol within the intestinal tract, take your Dianabol with a quarter Arimidex at the same time. Yeah. That might be a good idea. Let's see. Oh, I'm at the bottom. Yeah, great. Only took 1 hour and 40 minutes to get through all the questions. Can you be on cycle on Accutane? Let's say test EQ, DECA, no orals, of course. Yes, I did it for many years. But I took low dose Accutane, 10 milligrams twice per week, maybe 3 times per week. Yeah, I don't seem to need it now. But maybe at one point when the acne comes back. Now that I'm older, my acne isn't as bad. Sometimes I get a pimple here and there, but yesterday I had a big fat pizza and cold cuts and cheeses, and I don't have any pimples yet. Well, maybe here one. It's okay, I'm married. It's too late. It's too late. Rich Sutherland. Hey, Steve, is there a natty way to increase your DHT levels a lot? Why are you asking? Is this like for a penis lengthening protocol? That doesn't surprise me. HCG with an aromatase inhibitor increases um, the capacity for, since testosterone is higher and it can be converted or to reduce conversion into estradiol. Now it has more potential to convert into dihydrotestosterone. Yeah, or you can take the Andrectim topical cream and rub that on your nuts or your penis, and not on your nuts, then you'll cause downregulation. But if you rub it on your penis before bed, it might grow. Hey, Steve, advice on getting GP to change from Androgel to injectable. Say that you're worried that you're transferring this to your partner or your pets, and that you would rather go with injectable because you're tired of washing your clothes separate from everybody else, and you had a nightmare that your girlfriend had a mustache, and that your dogs were fucking everything inside. So that's what I would say. I think Androgel is fucking annoying, and then there's even. There's one article. Let's see, Androgel kids virilization. Let me see if I can find this article. Yeah, children's virilization by the use of testosterone gel in their fathers. It's actually been studied. And it's a scientific publication. So your GP, your general practitioner, general bullshitter, cannot go against it. I'll link it down below. And both ones, one of the mirrors of Science Hub. Did you know that about my dogs? Everybody, well, it's very likely that people have dogs. I have 9 cats, and I would not wish them fucking testosterone gel on them, because then my boys would be fucking horny and howling all day. Hell no. Even on higher dosages, Accutane 60. Yeah, that if you go to 80 milligrams Accutane per day, I would just run TRT. Not anymore, and run that for 8 months to get rid of your acne permanently. But I did like 80 milligrams Accutane for over 6 months, and it never removed it permanently. It got a lot better, but it didn't remove it permanently. What I got permanently from that is painful knees. So do some research, man. Yeah, I'm not worried about toxoplasmosis. So all my cats are inside. And toxoplasmosis is something you get outside. And every time I go in for blood work, I check for toxoplasmosis. And every time we send in the cats for blood work, we check for toxoplasmosis. After having cats for, well, 2.5 years, nothing so far. So, sweet. All good. I can't imagine the litter box schedule with 9 cats. I have 3 and it's brutal. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of poopy scooping. All day, man. But what else are you gonna do? Make videos? Steve, is there a risk of ketoacidosis on a keto diet with berberine, ribitide, and DADA? Apparently, DADA increases ketone production and lowers blood glucose. Yeah, that could be, but I haven't tried DADA myself yet. I should order some, but I don't want to go too crazy right now. I'm just slowly trying to cruise back into it, so I don't want to go turn myself into a training maniac again, and then be brain fogged all day. So yeah, it could be. It could be. Do some more research. I'm not entirely sure. Love the idea of giving your cats regular blood work. Yeah, man, I have to because I mean the cat food, of course, that you're giving it. I mean it's not the best quality, man. And these fuckers, they change the formula all the time. So you stick with canine, Royal Canine, for example, and then suddenly they change the formula, and all your cats have diarrhea. So I love them to death. So I just make sure that they stay as healthy as possible, and do regular blood work, and then make the adjustments. And if I see that their liver enzymes are too high after reintroducing a certain food, then I take that food out. So it sucks, but it has to be done. Of course, they hate going to the vet. So I found the vet that comes to my house. And they can draw blood work here. Yeah. Tall guy Sahin, what do you recommend for nagging abdominal pain right now? I'm using licorice tea. Remove all the foods that are giving you pain. Or do an endoscopy. Maybe there's something horrible going on in your intestinal tract. So remove the foods that are giving you pain. You should not have abdominal pain from your diet. Otherwise, you're eating something incorrectly, or you have something structurally going on. And for that, you need to do an ultrasound or an MRI or an endoscopy, right? Don't mask the symptoms because you might be having something terrible inside. Guys, don't ask stupid questions about what protocols your cats are on. That's the fucking retarded question. I mean, have some. It's already bad that this Alioli guy was torturing his cat. Right, so don't ask these stupid questions, man. Right, you don't fuck with the cat daddies. I'll put you on a protocol. That will be like 2,000 milligrams DNP. Yeah, good luck. Hey Steve, ruptured a couple discs for 2 years, not healing. Any gear or pep? No, get that diagnosed and then see if you need surgery. Because again, if they're ruptured and it's not healing, that it's a structural thing. So you need to fix the structure first. So you get diagnosed with an MRI, and maybe you need to do the inversion table. And once you got everything aligned for it to heal, then you can look into peptides and gears, right? Which I have many videos about. But first, you need to get diagnosed properly and see how you can improve your structure for that to heal properly. And then it's the same old healing protocol, man. TB500, BBC157, growth hormone, oxandrolone, etc. Yeah, you have a cat. I know. Octavian has a cat, and Iron Grid has cats. Everybody has cats, man. Do you not really like dogs or like both prefer cats? I prefer cats. The problem with dogs is that you need to walk them and they bark. And I need to work, man. I don't have fucking time for dogs that are barking 24/7. One of my neighbors has a dog and he barks once in a while and then it goes on for 30 minutes. I don't have the patience for that, man. I don't have the fucking patience for that. When my cats meow, it's soft, it's well mannered, and then you take care of it, right? You give them the attention, and they're very happy. But I can't stand dogs that are barking for fucking an hour straight. Pisses me the fuck off. So that's why we don't have dogs. I love dogs when I go to the petting zoo. That's 10 minutes. Fun. That's the meowing and the of course the howling from the cats. That's sometimes a bit annoying, but that's not too often. But it seems that dogs should just bark all the fucking time, and I can't deal with that, man. When I have so much work to do every day. Emperor Shreve. So all the moderators have cats. There you go. I have two cats from the same litter, both completely different colors, fur texture and length and mannerisms. Both lumped them to death. Yeah. Cats are the best, man. Cats are the best. All right, guys, you have 40 minutes left, so make sure you get your drug questions in. Otherwise, I'm going to bounce. We're not going to sit here for 40 minutes talking about cats. Yeah, and don't fuck with cats. It doesn't matter if it's 2 years ago. Those videos surface, you get canceled, man. JC, 500 Systanon, sus as fuck, 600 Primo. Was using clomiphene 12.5 milligrams every other day, 14 weeks deep. Libido is off right now. Was feeling great around week 12. Not the same, using HCG 1000 IOs a week with some HMG as well. It could be that your estrogen is just too low and you were blocking the estrogen receptors with the enclomiphene. So take the enclomiphene out. It will still take a couple weeks to metabolize and stay in your HCG protocol. Do blood work in 4 weeks and see what's going on your estrogen levels. And maybe you need DHEA and Semax and Selank, or Semax and oxytocin, right? Like I mentioned in the libido videos. Those can all upregulate your sensitivity to neurosteroids and just make you feel a lot better. So yeah, 500 micrograms Semax, 20 IUs oxytocin, 25 milligrams to 50 milligrams DHEA. Keep the HCG at 1,000 IUs. Oh, it's a week. Yeah, 1,000 IUs 3 times a week, please. And remove the enclomiphene, man. Fucking poison, that shit. Chinese ETF. It's so funny. China wanted to ban Bitcoin and mining and all that stuff, and now they're making an ETF. Let's see, man. Let's see what happens on Monday. I made a sweet deal yesterday. I sold my tether into Thai baht, and because it was spiking on one of the Thai Bitcoin exchanges here, BitCub, and so it went to like 39 baht for $1. Normally it fluctuates around 37. So I saw the sell off, and then sometimes during a sell off, you see the US dollar, the tether, get really strong compared to other currencies. So when you see that under the DXY, you're like, oh, now it's a good time to sell my tether. And I wasn't ready to ladder into Bitcoin yet. So I sold my some tether, and I made like a very good thing on my Thai bot. And then I bought back in when it came back to 37. So that was a sweet one. Yeah. Let's see what happens on Monday, man. Let's see what happens to the chart. Bitcoin. Let's see what's happening on Binance. Yeah, it's kind of boring right now until the halving. But I would not be against it breaking down to the 100-week moving average. Let me see. 1 week? Where would that be? I don't think it will break down. What, 100 week? No. 100 day. What are you talking about, Steve? 100 day moving average. There you go. Oh, that's right on the Fibonacci level. Yeah, let's say it breaks down to 58. That would be pretty good. Which Fibonacci? Oh, that's, yeah, maybe a little bit, a wick lower. Oh, man, a wick to the 0.618. Nah, I don't think it's going to happen. Where's the 20-week moving average? To just get my fucking trading view here. 20-week moving average is here. So in a couple days, it might culminate on the 58,000. Yeah, over the next couple of weeks. Well, We trade the charts. We don't trade fortune telling. Steve, hope you're doing well. Would it be pointless to be on DHT cream for bottom growth while on finasteride? And no, it wouldn't be, because the DHT would act locally right away. Of course, it will go systemic to a certain extent and render your finasteride or RU58441 useless, because now your serum DHT levels are increasing because serum DHT, or because you're applying DHT to your member. So again, trading hair loss for libido and the rock hard members seems like a silly idea to me, but some guys care more about their hair than their Johnson. So I hope Iran doesn't give us a surprise. Yeah, it will be good to ladder back into crypto and the stock exchange, though. Man, you never know, man. You never know. It's the election. This is election year, so if these guys want to pull something, I would do it before the elections, because America, presidentially is pretty weak right now. I hate to say it, but if any country wanted to invade America, now would be the time to do it. Not after the election, but before. The leadership is at an all-time weakest. But you never know what's going on with the world, man. And as fucked up as it sounds, when something like when war looms, that is the charts that you trade. When everybody else panics, you sit there with your full bag waiting. Yeah. And then all the money you saved, you invest on fucking, protection. Any reason to cycle Semax and Slank a month on, month off? I just felt that the maximum effects of Semax and Slank were kind of achieved after a month. And that effect seems to linger for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks after you discontinue it. So this is why I came up with a 1 month on, 1 month off. And of course, if you don't notice increased benefit, then why would you take it? If neurogenesis and cognition and libido and overall productivity is increased for the next 2 weeks, then why would you keep taking it if it doesn't make it any better? So sometimes it's good to come off stuff and kind of learn how to appreciate what it feels to be back on them again. You can't keep taking MDMA every day, right? You need to cycle off that shit too. Otherwise it stops working. Raw strength. Hey Steve, 180 centimeters, 101 kilos, 40% body fat, currently 150 milligrams testosterone. Oh, it's pretty low for your size, buddy. What do you think is the max dose I can run without an AI estradiol? Well, you're already at the max dose. Your estradiol is already out of the reference range. So, through the power of deduction, or the using the calculator, let's say you go to 55 divided by 150 times 200 is 73, and that's pretty much gynecomastia territory. So I would say that what's the history on this thing? Yeah, I would say it's 200 milligrams daily microadministrations, but your estradiol might end up at 73 picograms per milliliter, and that is gynecomastia territory for most guys. So, when in doubt, add in 100 milligrams of Primo. Lando Jr. super sticker, thank you. $2. That's like a small Starbucks nowadays. What do you recommend any blood thinners while blasting? Fish oil, vitamin E. That's all I need, man. That's all I need. No aspirin required. That's a great way to get stomach ulcers. And I don't care what anti-aging benefits it has. You're not just taking aspirin by itself. Fish oil, vitamin E, plenty of blood thinning effects. Stay hydrated. Right? Dilate your arteries with magnesium because it's a blood pressure lowering over-the-counter supplement. And then throw in the ancillaries if needed. But I don't think you need it. Tren improves fibrinolytic potential, so it reduces the potential for blood clots. But it has normal platelet adhesion. Let's see. You guys are chatting amongst yourself. Hey Steve, what do you think about 100 milligrams Anadrol every other day, training days only as I train every other day, or 50 milligrams every day? I would only do 100 milligrams Anadrol twice a week on weaker body parts. And now that you mention it, um, leg day is Tuesday, and I might just do that. Fuck it, 50 milligrams Anadrol pre-workout, baby. Yeah, let's see. Let's give it a try. Hypoxin and Anadrol, and then fucking 15 rep sets on weight I usually do 8 reps with. I won't be able to walk. But continuous, no resting. None of this resting shit. None of this 6 reps and then catching your breath and then 1 rep, 1 rep, 1 rep. Yes, sir, he's back. Yeah. It's been a whole fucking year, man. Fucking hell. It was horrible. No, not really, but it was boring. Let's just put it that way. It was fucking boring. Going to the gym and then training your legs as hard as you can and still seeing them shrink. Fuck, dude. Anyway, so I would do it 100 milligrams twice a week or 50 milligrams twice a week, depending on your level of development. Like if you're not like I would take 50 milligrams personally once a week on leg day. That's the only thing I would want to improve. Now I'm about 100 kilos, well 95, so that's 220 give or take, or 215, whatever. So if you're significantly larger and significantly stronger, and you want to be even larger and stronger, then go with 100 milligrams Anadrol. But you probably don't need it. You probably need 25 to 50. Because if you were bigger and stronger than me, you would probably know and you wouldn't ask this question. How much money would you say to be truly financially free in Thailand? Say $3,500 a month. Yeah, about 100,000 baht. Then you can live good. But if you have $10,000 a month, that's when the fun starts. Then you really don't have to give a fuck about anything. And if you make 100,000 baht, well, or $100,000 a month, then you just don't tell anybody about that. You stay humble and you wear old clothes, so everybody thinks you make maybe $5,000. That's the way to do it, man. Otherwise, you have a lot of cockroach friends. So it's, I think at 100,000 baht or about $3,500 net after taxes, man, you can live so good here. And I did it on 50,000 for many years, but that was over a decade ago. And of course, prices have gone up. Prices have gone up quite a bit. Some people complain that prices have doubled, but my salary has more than doubled. So I don't really feel it. But if you didn't double your salary over the last decade, then yes, of course, you will feel it. Yeah. So 100,000 baht. How tall are you, Steve? 5'9", 175 centimeters. Why not Superdrol for your once a week leg day? Because Superdrol just elevates your liver enzymes a lot. And I feel free to do it. But I would still use Superdrol for 2 weeks every single day leading into a contest, whether that's a bodybuilding contest or a strongman contest. But if you want to do, improve a workout, I don't think you need Superdrol for that. I think Anavar or Anadrol is more than enough to do that. Just got reminded that I have to worry that the ultra rich are potentially making a cerebralized type of thing out of humans instead of pigs. Think about it. Yeah. Yeah. It would be a good premise for a movie, right? Yeah. Just like Daywalkers. That was the one? Or Daybreakers, where the vampires have taken over the earth and then they have like a farm, just humans standing there dripping blood. And then you see that the farm gets less and less and less because all the humans are dying. And our food is running out. Shit. I'm sure they can make a recombinant brain-derived neurotropic factor at one point, and then you need to do injecting pig brain derivatives anymore. Is Ken, you why are you still taking pregnenolone? No, I did mention that in the HRT protocol because my progesterone levels are not low, so I stopped taking it. When my progesterone levels are coming down and I notice a cognitive decline, which I haven't noticed so far, then I will reintroduce pregnenolone. But for now, I'm just taking 50 milligrams DHEA. Uh, is Brian Johnson the first vampire in this story? He could be. I mean, he did take what his own son's blood for the growth factor, something like that, as an experiment. Um, yeah, maybe. I think Brian Johnson is like the first step in the evolution. Did you guys ever watch the Time Machine with the Piers? The Time Machine, 2002. Yeah, what's his name? What was that actor? Guy Pearce. And then he goes to the future, right? And he meets Jeremy Irons. Yeah. Jeremy Irons is the vampire. Sometimes I'm reminded that Brian Johnson is slowly turning into that, elite vampire of the Time Machine. I saw you talking to Chase, and you said you injected your L-carnitine sub-Q. Do you know why some people say it burns like hell, but it doesn't bother other people? Well, some people are just bitches. You're injecting shit into your body, man. What do you think is going to happen? Of course, it's going to hurt sometimes, right? Water-based, like the Increlex has acidic acid in it, and even though I dilute it, it still burns every time I inject. You don't hear me complaining, you know. Carnitine burns. Some brands of HCG burn. Increlex burns. Vitamin C, glutathione. It all hurts. So get used to it, man. Get fucking used to it. Yeah, the Time Machine was amazing. I love that movie. Should redo it. It will be like the fourth iteration. There's another actress in there. Samantha Mumba. Hot. Amazonian goddess. She had a British. She was from Ireland, right? So Amazonian goddess with a British accent. I mean, what more do you want? What more do you want? Brian Johnson is an odd duck. I respect him for showing everything he is doing and what he's trying. I admire the transparency. Yeah, the Brian Johnson with a Y is very transparent, but Brian Johnson with an I, well, what an embarrassment. Yeah, and when you're transparent, you get shit. It's the same. Look, go through my comment section of the HRT video. People are just shitting on me. It's you can't win, man. If you're transparent, and then Paul Burnett also had a rant this week about being transparent about running 2 grams of gear. It doesn't matter what you do in life. People will always complain. So all you have to do is just stay true to yourself and do what you feel is right for yourself and ultimately your audience if you're on social media. And as long as the majority of the people stick around, then you probably have enough incentive to keep going. But if you're clearly doing something wrong and people are leaving, then you're doing it wrong because nobody is willing to stick around and listen to your bullshit. Yeah. I think people should be transparent. I mean, I'm about 99% transparent. I'm not transparent about everything, but as transparent as I can be regarding performance enhancing drugs and everything else that I'm doing with my body. But, not everything has to be put online, obviously. So if I had a time machine, I would probably just fake an injury and say I came off cycle and not talk about trying to get my wife pregnant. That was a grave mistake. Yeah, that was a mistake. But, well, since we are here now, I will deal with those questions until my wife is actually pregnant. Best fat loss fasting protocol for a fat piece of shit works night shift for the past 3 years. Well, I have a video about that. I think it's called the Ultimate Fat Loss Fasting Protocol. Let's see if I can find it. Fat loss. Yeah, Steve's extreme fat loss 5 days fasting mimicking diet. 30,000 views. Oh, great. I was also skinny in that video. Jesus Christ. All right, it's linked down below. Don't open the Pandora's box with a time machine, man. Dude, this shit will keep you awake at night. If only I had a time machine to go back to 2011 and buy like 10,000 Bitcoin or like 1,000,000 Bitcoin. I mean, that shit will fucking eat at your soul if you start thinking about that. Yeah. I'd probably be dead though, doing all kinds of stupid shit with all that money that I had. You know, if you had, let's say you had $1 billion, right? And you didn't even acquire it through hard work, so you don't even know what it's worth. And then you start doing the Dan Bilzerian bullshit. I think at one point you'll just self-destruct. I think so. I think you're just going to self-destruct either with drugs or racing too fast or doing stupid stunts or, or getting yourself HIV. I mean, with $1 billion, you can get a lot of pussy. So, yeah. Luckily, all the net worth that I have, I had to earn the hard way, the good old-fashioned way. So I know how much it's worth. It's worth. So I'm not too frivolous with all the money that I earned over the last couple of years. Yeah, the one guy that bought a pizza with like 40 Bitcoin. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah, we all go through these mistakes, man. If only. If only. Here we go. Have you used, do you use or have you used recreational drugs? I have used in the past while living in Holland, all of them. Yeah. You don't wear a shirt like this if you never dabbled. You don't make a background like that if you never dabbled. So yes, I've used all of them except for heroin. Yeah. And salvia I've used. Yeah, that one I've used. Fuck, all kinds of mushrooms, all kinds of LSD, MDMA, and derivatives, and yeah, man, I had a good time when I was younger. Good shit. Yeah, good shit. Good memories. I would go back in time and buy all the pro hormones and DS, PH, and DS. I don't know what that stands for, but if that's your wish, then go for it. I don't know, running kind of stale in the comment section. See if there's anything interesting to answer. No, nothing really. Well, times have changed. You can find a lot of shitty drugs now in Europe. I know, but I was in Holland. The party scene was so vibrant, so I could find fuck MDMA and speed and cocaine and LSD and all that shit very very easily. But then, of course, if you're in the party scene, then you're surrounded by drug abusers. So, I know somehow, some way in my life, I never had an issue sourcing shit. Really, I never had an issue sourcing drugs. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad. I could always find pharmaceutical gear. I could always find high quality recreational drugs when I was still using them back in the day. Um, yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. In Holland, you have those smart shops, right? And you just befriend the guy behind the counter. So first you buy a little bit of mushrooms, and then you buy some philosopher's stone, and then you buy or you ask him like, hey, I tried mushrooms now many a time. Is there a place where you can get some LSD? And he's like, yeah, of course. Meet me at 6 o'clock after closing time, and then you get a nice stack of post-its. No, not post-its, but stamps. It's not difficult. At least that was it back in the day. And now it's probably all through the dark web. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it. Man, in Thailand, you don't want to dabble with that shit, man. Too risky. Mm-mm-mm. Maybe because you are Dutch. Yeah, we are the biggest drug abusers on the planet. That's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah, you know why? Because socially, it's terrible to live there. And Dutch people are only tolerant of each other when they're high on shit. Yeah, when they're sober, no, they hate each other. Yeah. You make more money than you do, stop showing off. That kind of shit. Nobody's happy for each other in Holland. I had to leave, man. Place fucking toxic. Have you ever done a video on methylene blue? I included it in my endurance deep dive video series, and it's on my to-do list. But I won't make a dedicated video on methylene blue until I've tried it myself. And it's, I know at one point I'll order some and run maybe 2 milligrams to 5 milligrams daily, and then give my anecdotal response and make a best dose of methylene blue video. But I first want to get those steroid videos out of the way. And every time I do something else besides the steroids, and even the steroid videos don't get too many views. And there's a lot of studies on methylene blue, so it will take some time. So yeah, yeah, it's on my to-do list, and at one point when I have experience, I'll make a video about it, obviously, because the methylene blue is always very popular. And I seamlessly switch intramuscular test prop to every other day sub-Q. Yeah, man, it has a long half-life, so don't worry about it. Just switch. Henry Pham. Have you tried using Google Gemini? No, I haven't used that. I don't even know what that is. I found that it can summarize studies well and can help me speed up research. I'll look into it. Yeah, I wish I knew that before I researched all the Trembolone studies. I know I tried with ChatGPT and a couple plugins, but I found it lackluster. So I just go through it the old-fashioned way and read or scan through it until I find something interesting, and then I summarize that in my notes. And then at one point, it's ready for presentation. And it all makes sense now. I'm a miserable piece of shit. I'm Dutch. Yeah. So as soon as you leave, you're not a miserable piece of shit. It's the surroundings, man. I was fucking miserable, dude. There, I was fucking miserable. And all the cool people all the cool Dutch people that I know, they feel the exact same way. You know, you go back. I have to go back for a wedding for about five days, and I'm dreading it. You know, so I'm filling out my schedule. I'll try to meet Wesley Vissers and do a workout, and then meet family members, and then getting the fuck out of there, man. I'll try to avoid people that I used to know from the past, because I'll feel guilty about explaining on what position I am in life. I literally feel guilty every time I go back, because I think I do pretty well for myself, right? And then you explain that to people who live in Holland and never really leveled up. And I don't even want to talk about myself, because it's there's such a gap, right, in between what I was able to do by leaving and what they were able to not achieve by staying. So I just don't even want to. Nah. So the wedding is for a guy that also left Holland, but of course he has family there. So we're all going to meet up and get nice and drunk and smoke some $125 Cohiba Maduro 5s if I can get them somewhere. Gibson Chidwood. Hey Steve, about a week into running IGF-1 DES, actually seeing progress in my shoulders. Okay, that's good. Nothing changed with gear. Is there a local water retention or soft tissue growth? Probably both. Might get a little bit of inflammation, nutrient partitioning, satellite cell differentiation and proliferation, and ultimately adhesion for tissue to growth, and have myonuclei increase of the skeletal muscle there. So keep pinning it. And then stop it for a month and see if the gains are permanent, which should be. I mean, IGF-1 has been known to have some side-enhancing effects, albeit that for the price, it's probably not as impressive as jamming a boatload of hyaluronic acid in there. But that's not real muscle, right? That's not real muscle. Is HGH, if growth hormone is preferable, used with insulin? No, you can use it solo, man. Would growth hormone with semaglutide offer similar effects in sema increases increases insulin sensitivity. No, semaglutide does not increase insulin sensitivity, but it reduces your food intake, and thus indirectly it improves insulin sensitivity. But semaglutide also promotes insulin secretion from the pancreas in the presence of food, right? Semaglutide, dulaglutide, tirzepatide, liraglutide, and retatrutide are insulinotropic secretagogues. Yeah. So if you take growth hormone with semaglutide, I think it's a great combination to get lean, and your insulin sensitivity should be sustained because you're eating less. Yeah. Let's see. Definitely going to do growth hormone long term over IGF-1 for the money. Yeah, but growth hormone, like the Increlex, I'm paying about what, $7 per day, so for 500 micrograms, give or take. Is that correct? Let me calculate that. 700. I'm paying a little bit less, but let's say the street value. 40 divided. No, what? 700 divided by 80. Yeah, it's about $9. The street value is about $9, but I'm paying less because, well, I'm me. So you could remove 2 IUs of pharmaceutical growth hormone and replace that with 500 micrograms Increlex, and I think you get better results. Yeah. So even though the boxes are expensive, I think results-wise, for the same amount of money, let's say you're running 6 IUs growth hormone, and you're shuttling 2 IUs of growth hormone away financially to the Increlex or the IGF-1 DES, I think you'll get better results. Yeah, I think you'll get better results because growth hormone promotes IGF-1 production in the liver, but that has to go systemic. Whereas IGF-1, whether that's LR3, DES, or Increlex, you get to administer at the site where you want a boost in muscularity and nutrient partitioning and cell proliferation. And thus, over time, if you keep hitting the same area, you should have a more pronounced effect. So you spend the exact same money, but regarding improving particular body parts, I think that's better on that particular combination of growth hormone and IGF-1. Steve, best whiskey to drive while best whiskey to drink while driving a Chevy Suburban. You shouldn't drink and drive, man. Come on. Come on. Like, I know I'm reckless, but I'm not that reckless. So, no. Drive your Chevy. I don't even know what the fuck that looks like. It's probably some trash car. For Chevy Suburban. Jesus Christ. If dude, I would drive off a cliff. You know what? Yeah. Yeah. Best whiskey to drive? Jim Beam. The whole bottle. And just fucking straight off the cliff. This car literally looks like a Jim Beam bottle. Well, we're both trolling. Eh? Professor Sheep knows. A couple more questions, and I'm going to throw in the towel because I'm getting cognitively impaired. It's 2:30 in the morning. If doing 3 or 0.3 milligrams growth hormone every day, so that's what, 1 IU, what would be the equivalent dose of switching to? There's no equivalent dose because growth hormone is a IGF-1 secretagogue, basically. So just run both, man. Just run both. Because on one IU growth hormone per day, how much IGF-1 are you going to produce? Just accidentally the whole bottle. Set some money aside. How to cut without losing muscle mass? Steroids. I started at 220 pounds, 80% body fat, cut my food intake to about a third now. I'm 200, with a 21%, lost 13 pounds of muscle based on body scan. So you lost weight, but you got fatter. I think you need to revamp what you're doing. Hire a coach. I think you're going in the wrong direction. I'll be sitting here for an hour. Have you ever tested your IQ? I think I did an IQ test when I went to university when I was 16. It was more than 100. Yeah. 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 Who the fuck cares about IQ? It's a stupid test. It doesn't mean that you're smart. All right. This is the last one. No more super chats. because this is $50. Nobody can top this. And don't fucking challenge me. Don't fucking challenge me now. All right. Hey, coach. Every time I try to inject more than 50 milligrams of testosterone cypionate, I get massive fatigue. Libido is crazy good during this time, but the fatigue is a showstopper. I have not run labs. Could this be the estradiol test flow? Ever seen this? Yeah, some guys get lethargy or insomnia or anxiety from the testosterone cypionate or any dose of testosterone. So why don't you try HCG monotherapy for a while at 500 or 250 IUs 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. After 2 weeks, see how you feel, if your libido increased, if your mood increased, but if there's no fatigue, you can consider increasing the dose to 500 IUs, HCG 3 times per week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Again, same assessment for 2 weeks, maybe 1,000 IUs, HCG, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And, you know, at one point you'll feel like, good, okay, so like my libido and energy levels are crazy good, but I don't have any fatigue. Go on for blood work. See what it looks like. Maybe HCG monotherapy is the way, and maybe testosterone cypionate in the brand that you're using is just too much of an influx at any given time. Maybe you need to go to, I don't know, 10 milligrams subcutaneous daily for 70 milligrams per week, but give the HCG a try first. Right? And in the meantime, you can source a different brand, because it could be test flow, it could be estradiol, it could be too much estrogens or androgens going in at one go. Could be like a reduction in thyroid binding globulin, for example. Maybe your thyroid levels are very low, and now you get your thyroid binding globulins go down, and thus T4 goes up, converting into T3, going up really a little bit, and then crashing down because there's nothing to hold it. So it could be a multitude of different things. But yeah, labs usually help to determine what's going on. Yeah. All right, guys. Let's wrap it up for today. I'm a genius. Well, not really. But there's another educator who calls himself a genius. But you guys know me, that I'm humble, unless I'm provoked, and then I'll try to raise myself up so I don't succumb to the hate. But yeah, I'm doing pretty okay for myself. Yeah, I'm doing pretty okay, guys. This was fun. I'll see you guys next weekend. The ebooks are still 25% off for 2 more weeks. And then I will take them offline. So if you're interested in buying those, well, 2.5 weeks until the end of April. And then don't say that, Steve, don't take those ebooks offline. I want to buy them. When they're gone, man. When they're gone, they're gone. So next week will be a podcast with Ryan from Cortex Labs. That was a great conversation. And I'll try to get the Trenbolone best dose video out the door, and then record something else for maybe Thursday, something easy. I'm a little bit bored with staying on PubMed, so I'm going to release those videos a little bit slower than before, and do some other content, because it's pretty fucking exhausting reviewing 900 studies at a time and then making a script that's 60 pages long. Yeah. So stay tuned for more content. Peace out. This was fun. I'll see you guys next weekend. Enjoy yourself, and next weekend we'll answer a million more TRT questions. Okay. Peace out.